Hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Travelers, for another installment and update, Cosmic Energy Report. Kitty is obviously just coming alive just right now. She does have a sixth sense. Yes, now you're talking. Anyway, so the headline of today is we now quantum collapse the phantom matrix realities in anchor heaven on earth. Okay, the gates are open. We are currently in between two worlds. And it's like we are merging really all timelines, all realities, all dimensions, and all of our incarnational selves into one. But it's a little bit, at the moment, feels more like two timelines that are running parallel. And it's like we're in the, in between time, twilight zone. So what we are supposed to do is right now really fully connect with our power, because we have full timeline access, and we are now here to remember that we do have that for the ones that are activated, okay, and are ready for this, to now fully claim our power as the conscious co-creators that we are. I mean, you hear me, the people who are following me for a while saying this a lot, but it's on purpose, because we're having to remember that we're not like, just reacting to our realities, because as I said before, it's like we're watching the past of what's happening out there. What we're to do is to override the realities we wish not to see, all in alignment with divine will. So it's not about imposing our ego will, okay? So we need to be in full embodiment and alignment in order to really also reclaim our power of being able to access those realities within our DNA. Because as star seeds and as indigo 1s and 2s who are familiar with that, we literally carry the timelines within our DNA for the planetary end, cosmic ascension. So, and DNA, what is DNA? It's literally what? It's sound and it's light, it's obviously data and information, but ultimately what it is, it's consciousness, okay? Consciousness turned into form. At the highest level of all material form, even before sound and light, it's just pure consciousness, okay? And that's always my aim, to get to the core of the core, so we can change it all from there, because that's literally what's necessary, okay? It's not about fighting or resisting anything or holding on to anything, trying to make something happen, forcing it or controlling. It's about collapsing and co-creating the timelines from the 0-point field of neutrality. Again, neutrality doesn't mean we don't have any discernment or preferences, but it means we're not fighting or resisting. It's like an energetic 0-point field from where you can collapse and co-create timelines. Because if you resist them, fight them, judge, hang on to them, attach, want something too much, it's all energetically not congruent with the 0-point field, which doesn't have any attachment or resistance. Again, it's the polarities merged in the 0-point field with the third energy, which is the neutrality and divine love, which cancels out the friction between the polarities. Okay, we don't get rid of polarities because that's how creation works. Once we create one thing, we also create the opposite, but it's that it's been a distorted polarity consciousness, okay, and a gender divide and all the other ways it plays out, okay? And we are here to, as polarity integrators, especially those that are familiar with the twin flame journey, that's the main mission though we all share, okay? It's to integrate the polarities, to bring them to peace within, okay? All the conflicts and unify them within as one. So you don't get rid of the polarities, but you bring them to peace. Okay, and there's no more friction. And yes, there's one that has a higher truth than the other, but it's not fighting anything. It's not trying to convince anyone of anything. You just stand in your truth. Okay, you know where you stand. But if there's something in your reality that comes up that's your opposite, a polarity or as such perceived, it's literally giving you an opportunity to integrate that on a deeper level for you to come to more balance within. I hope that makes sense, okay, in a short form of what the 0-point field is in neutrality. So it's, let's say, when you in your personal timeline, you have maybe something important planned, an important event at the end of the day, and you're getting a little bit stressed of thinking about all the things that could go wrong, maybe of not getting on time, or, you know, I don't know, someone not turning up, something like this. What you do is, when we work with timelines, we get okay with the worst case scenario. Okay, so we don't have any attachment to the event having to play out in a certain way. Okay, our controlling kind of thoughts of and expectations of what we want to happen. But it's a nice if, okay? But it's like you don't have an attachment. It doesn't need to happen. If everything goes wrong, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to drag us down emotionally, mentally into a pit of despair, for example, okay? Or it's the end of the world, or we have a confidence issue, or you know what I mean? Okay, because we know if things go wrong, it's just a test in mastery. There's always something to learn, to expand into. There's always reason to everything, okay? I strongly believe since a child that everything happens for a reason, okay? There is a higher consciousness at work, okay? And we are co-creating ultimately everything as one together, you know, however it may seem at times. So anyway, so you get okay with the worst case scenario. So you don't have an attachment to it turning out well, okay? So you release your attachment to having to turn out well. But then you also like, you know, the more often you do it, you can do this very quickly, you know, because the less fear you will have left within your body of, you know, things not turning out well, or, you know, going wrong or whatever. And then you focus on the timeline you would like to manifest, such as, you know, just mainly focus on the feeling, how you would feel like, the conversations you would have, for example, or, you know, I don't know, if there's a dinner involved, what would the dinner taste like? Just more of the feeling and the overall sense of enjoyment, because what we're ultimately trying to do is connect with a frequency, which is really a thought plus a feeling. But it's more about, you know, you can, the same as you can say affirmations and then you don't really feel them. So they don't have as much power as you just, you know, really hitting that frequency of the consciousness or of that reality that you wish to manifest, which is really you matching, you know, that with a level of confidence and no doubt within your field of that being possible to happen. But again, you're not attached to it. I hope this makes sense. Okay. And that's the time when you feel, you daydream about it or whatever. I mean, in this case, it's not maybe that much of an important timeline, depending on what's happening. Maybe not the best example, but I hope it makes sense. Okay. It's about non-attachment to outcome. It's nice if it happens. Okay. You keep feeding that what you want to happen. But if there's any fear of something going wrong, you also don't want to suppress it. You want to go there and release the fear of where it's like, whatever happens, I'm going to be fine. And that's a general thing. Okay. That's the non-attachment where we create everything from and also collapse from. That's how we manifest. And this is now, and that's why I'm talking about this, such an important time for us to manifest the timelines in as much detail as we can, and I'm guided to, okay, personally and collectively, because there's still something coming up. And I'm going to go straight to that part, I think. No, okay. Let me go down the list before I totally, you know, lose the other part. So at the moment, massive DNA, diamond grid and crystal network activations. Okay, since Sunday, I was highlighting in my last video, the 27th, and it didn't disappoint. Certainly a lot of tension in the field. And there was then talk about the nuclear kind of thing. So as soon as I saw it, I knew it's not going to happen. Okay. But I still knew I needed to do something in the field. And I was basically guided to, I was spending the weekend in a place in Ireland where there is a Q site. So it's an important point in the grids that connects. So it's basically called the Ireland's Eye. It's just outside of Hove, which is north of Dublin. Anyway, so I combined it with a little mini holiday with my daughter, as well as hooking, tapping into the grids there, okay? Because that point connects to Cornwall, which is a very important point in the grids. It connects to Trinity Gates, arc sites, and it also connects to the Crystal Cathedral network. So if you don't know what that's about. You can look these things up, for example, on Ascension Glossary, which is a good research website when you want to know a little bit more about, Ascension. Again, as always, only take what resonates, leave the rest. But, it's all about researching and finding your own, gnosis and your own way of understanding things. So anyway, it was an important point in the grids where I could tap into one of the most important grid sites. So I did my magic and it was massive. The diamond grid activations that were unfolding, absolutely massive. And ever since then, it's really been every day super intense. Despite actually, I have to say today, it is intense, like on the 3-3. I mean, now it's here where I am the 4th of March, but anyway, the 3-3 gateway or day, I have to say it was less intense in the last few days. But what has been happening today especially has a huge, massive focus of the final collapse of the phantom matrix and associated timelines and creations. Okay, so all the false timeline, but even more than that, it's a whole construct that's in the planetary grid and in our fields. Okay, and we've already been clearing a lot of this, but this is now for quantum collapse. And this is really happening very quickly. So we've been clearing a lot of timelines, especially since the 22nd, okay, gateway. So there's a lot happening, which we can obviously see. And again, as we transcend the fears and, we work with the timelines, they literally also come up to be collapsed. But what I'm seeing now is that we can actually be a step ahead, okay? So the grids, what I saw on Sunday was basically a lot of monoliths also coming online. I've been working a lot with certain other grid sites. And I also heard from other people I'm connected with that they've, basically confirmed what I'm seeing, of what's happening, of releasing all the negative aliens, entities, black goo, black magic, sorcery, black demon seeds. There are certain points in the grids I've been connecting to a lot. They're connected also to the platinum diamond grid network, which has been bringing in a lot of purification. Okay, so I'm really just seeing now just constant streams and purification wash, like a whitewash. Okay, planetary whiten of our bodies, and the whole field of any of this of the artificial realities and timelines and all the creations, negative alien machinery, black goo. I mean, I've been writing about, there's so many things we can all list here, but ultimately it's all artificial realities, timelines, their creations, cause effect. Okay, because we're going back to the start. And that's where my main point of what I want to get to mainly today. Okay, so basically I've been made aware. So what's been happening with the Russia thing? I very much feel it collapsed since the 2nd. It's really not, I can't feel it much anymore in the field. So for me, that whole timeline has collapsed. They did, I believe, try to push the whole, nuclear war thing. But what I also could see is that, and I'm going to be jumping around a lot today, I'm already seeing. So I hope it makes sense. It was very much connected to, if you think about the atomic bomb, it's splitting the atom, okay? And this was shown to me is also down to the split in consciousness, the original split in consciousness, and the split between men and women, because we were once androgynous. And this comes back to the twin flames, as they were also split. Okay, it's all interrelated, also interrelates to our separation from source, from the spiritual into the physical. All right. So that's kind of a core theme, all right, we're working with. But I could see that healing on a Sunday on the 27th. And that's then, it was kind of the chicken and the egg thing. Like I kind of already knew this timeline wasn't going to happen. I could feel it in the field, but I also knew there needed to be done something at a consciousness level. So that's what I was shown was happening. So that original split was being healed. All right. And it's really now more and more people can feel it being activated into the oneness. Okay. We're merging into the one consciousness. All right. And what I was seeing also on the second, and which I wrote about, was really the rebirth of Christ consciousness at the planetary level, like a confirmation. So I was shown in, when I was doing grid work and gate work, I work a lot with the planetary core, the crystal core. And I was shown, I've been talking about this before, about the dragons and dragon eggs, but I was shown on the first, which was very intense day, the Maha, I can't get it together, I can't remember the name now. I talked about it when Shiva and Shakti unify, and marry, basically divine union energies were very potent that day. And what I was shown is already the egg, was the golden egg was shown to me, and I could feel like it was trying to open. And then on the second, and I was doing, more work, I was then shown the egg cracking open and basically a little golden dragon coming out of it, but representing the Christ consciousness, the Christ child, the divine child, being rebirth, Christ consciousness. And then from my solar plexus, a golden egg coming out and opening up. And that really releasing the feeling and the message, because I really get downloads of cognition. So it would be something like a picture or something like this, like a scene with a whole kind of data download that unravels. Anyway, so I was given the message that this was the birth of Christ consciousness, and I could really feel it, and it was going out. I could also feel then later on the day, it was really the Christ consciousness, also these new Christ Trinity codes, these golden crystalline codes going throughout the grids and the ley lines, and really going out into the consciousness and overwriting also the old crystalline network, as in clearing any old codings and, again, black magic and all that has come before, all the old programming and so forth. But anyway, so I was sharing this. That was the confirmation. I had a couple of other people also confirm it to me. They had the same thing happening, and there's basically just shortly after reading mine, but they had their experience before, so around the same time. Although this all, is ultimately timeless, but it was just a nice confirmation to hear it from another two people that they also basically saw this happening or something very similar with them. So this is now going out, and ultimately, and I see the whole Russian thing also collapsing, all right? So they were trying to push, and I'm just going to say at this point, I'm really not into the politics of who's the white head, who's the whatever head, and who's on which side. From what I can see, because I really focus on a higher level of just in the consciousness, what's behind this, because this is what's causing this mess, okay? And so I'm focusing on, this is just kind of a little end result of what then happens there. Anyway, is that, there are double agents, triple agents, white heads, all these different heads, and nobody knows who's who anymore. Plus, it's constantly shifting, especially now. We're going to go for massive timeline jumps, where facts are changing. People are just going to disappear. That's why I'm seeing a lot of yesterday and today, for this whole phantom matrix collapse. Literally just see negative alien associates and, entities, all of these beings that have not chosen the law of one, and redemption, they're literally disappearing. Literally, I keep seeing it in the field, they're just disappearing from the field, all right? And this is the same as when you have prominent dead people that all of a sudden they die again. Or you have, what's called the Mandela effect of some people thought that he already died in the 80s in prison. Most of us remember him becoming the president, Nelson Mandela. So, but a lot more of that is going to happen. So just be open to changes. Generally, when there are two opposing sides and it's war, it's usually a setup. When has it not been, from either the factions fighting each other, or it's been organized anyway as one. I don't really care for the details. Okay, what I care about is fixing the consciousness that's behind, you know, for us to basically be able as the one consciousness to come to peace. So if there's war, we come to peace. If they want totalitarianism, we bring the oneness. Okay, we are the ones who are here to override all of this and to counteract these energies. And when we have the pure frequency of no doubt, that's what totally collapses all the lower timelines. Okay, and that's the thing. So we've been so heavily manipulated that confidence, believing in ourselves, okay, is all a big challenge. 144. So it's the one key thing. Confidence, believing in ourselves and releasing all doubt. That's when it happens. Okay. It's the stronger frequency. It's not like a more forceful energy. It's the no doubt. And you only can have no doubt also when the truth comes from within you, not when somebody has told you this and this is going to happen. If you know from within yourself a truth, it feels very different, the no doubt, than when it's something you've just been told, okay? And it's a learned truth. I hope that makes sense, all right? I mean, inner guidance, inner knowing is the key. I mean, I've been saying this for many months now. That's where now, you know, this really becomes a great benefit if you've been being your own greatest authority and been looking within to find the answer instead of constantly without. And of course, we also, you know, read some things or, you know, expand our knowledge or, you know, whatever by, I don't know, doing a course and so forth. But what I'm generally saying would be, or suggesting, is just spend also a good amount of time just being silent or just sitting with yourself, meditating or going for a walk without distracting yourself, and really just be, you know, watch the thinker. This is all about mindfulness and consciousness beyond the spirituality and what we think is spiritual or not. Okay. This is about us becoming conscious co-creators. You don't have to necessarily believe, you know, in God as such. And as long also as we believe in God outside of us, you know, we're still not there, because this is all about remembering we are God, we are source, however we want to call that. And people may relate to that in different ways. Okay. But ultimately, that's what's coming with the Christ consciousness now being rebirthed collectively. And this is going out. All right. And we are being the new broadcasting station through our own embodiment. And this has only come online because enough of us are activated. All right. And this is now totally fully collapsing along with all the other work that's going on, all these phantom realities and timelines. And if somebody believes that we are leaving some timeline behind, like some Metatronic timeline or phantom matrix, for some beings to carry on for another few hundred millions of years and drag some more souls down with them, okay, to feed off, then you want to ask yourself, why is anyone telling you that that's going to happen anyway? Why would they maybe want that? Because they would need that to happen in order for them to live a few more 100 million years. But we are not going to let that happen. That's what I'm being shown, because this is the end of suffering. Also for those that have caused the suffering and that keep causing more suffering through their own suffering. This is the final mercy of releasing all of these beings back to source. We're totally collapsing these phantom matrices, all these realities, false realities are all being quantum collapsed. That's what I'm seeing in the field. Totally dissolved, back to source. That's what I'm getting. That's all I'm sharing. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest. Okay. Now, if you also believe that the Russian timeline is over the war timeline because it basically didn't work, we collapsed that very quickly. Well done, everyone. Okay. By seeing through the bullshit. Now comes the main point of my talk today, is the next one, which I've been made aware of, and I mean, it's nothing new really, is a fake alien invasion, okay? Now, I've came across a video that's with Laura Eisenhower. I'll share the link in the YouTube video. underneath in the comments if you want to check that out. Basically, she talks to, I can't remember the guy's name, but basically he's an ex-FBI agent, okay? And he's a well-known friend of hers, whatever. Now, he was talking about the cabal having several plans, and that's the one thing, they always tell us what's next. And as I was tuning into this, I knew I wasn't coming across this by accident, because I don't really watch her videos anymore. I think she's doing a great job, but it's just not, what I pay attention to much. Anyway, so this came up, and I could see that this is the final timeline. So what they were saying is that they were trying to push the war timeline and then the nuclear timeline, which they really needed, because they need deluge, they need, they're throwing everything because they know their time is up. And I mean, we know it's the dying beast, and then, they're fighting for their life. It's natural, okay? But basically what I was saying, so what he was talking about was the fake alien invasion, and he was, kind of making, without saying many details, because they would have a follow-up call afterwards, but I didn't sign up for that because I was guided not to go into any details, to be honest, is his outlook was kind of dire and sort of, things going a bit haywire on the planet here. Now, I also, interestingly enough, they call it Project Failsafe. Get the cosmic joke here. It really is. It's a quantum joke, okay? Now, you need to remember, beyond the conspiracy, and we're way past theories, okay? The conspiracies, are real. I mean, some more real than others, okay? But ultimately, beyond the conspiracy, it's all orchestrated by the one consciousness. And especially now where we at, the experiment is over, okay? This is the wrap up, all right? This is the end of the movie. But we are now choosing a different ending. Okay, this is ending and beginnings. Now, we've collapsed this timeline. Now, the last one open that I can see is fake alien invasion. But the thing is, this actually is the timeline we are going back to and correcting. I think she knows now. So basically, what we're doing and what we're seeing everywhere, all these timeline bleed-throughs, okay? The same with the war. It's basically clearing all of these timelines so we can lose the fear, overwrite them, and choose differently this time. Because now enough of us remember of what we're here to do is to change these timelines, okay? We hold them in our DNA, literally. Our DNA is the film strip to our realities. So as we change this and comes online, the realities will shift. But it's our consciousness that is actually the instruction sets to the DNA. This is why I talk a lot about consciousness, okay? This is where it all comes back to. What we think, feel, believe, actions, the programming, okay? Everything is based on programming, belief system, thought forms, and obviously in conjunction with, your feelings of really believing it. So anyway, this is the original timeline we are going back to, because as I said, we're going back to the start and really shifting, changing also the start of the whole movie in a way, because we're going back in time, we're going back to the start, which is the Holocaust or the invasion timeline, which happened on many different layers. So we have the Lyra invasion, and then you would have Lemurian Holocaust, okay? And this is what I'm going to focus on, because that's kind of one of my main timelines I've been holding, is basically before the end, but it's literally, different timelines bleeding into one. I hope this makes sense. Okay, I'm trying to be concise. So anyway, the alien invasion is really where it all started to go wrong, isn't it? So it's the negative aliens taking over and enslaving humanity. And then, many eons later, we keep forgetting loads and loads and loads, but now we remember. All right. So this is coming back online to be cleared, that timeline within our DNA. So we have to go back, because this time we're doing it differently. So what would we do differently? So what happened is, in that timeline, we were not prepared for the alien invasion. We were peace-loving folk, okay? And we weren't prepared for the aggression. And we kind of allowed it to happen. So we should have quarantined them, all right? And we should have been better prepared. But now we know better, okay? So we're basically going back to that timeline where we do not allow them to invade, okay? And we go a step further, because how do we stop the invasion from even happening? That would be to go to the core of why the invasion even happened. Because I was checking today, how can we collapse this timeline? What can we do with this timeline? Okay, so we don't want a negative alien invasion. Obviously, what we want is full disclosure. We are the aliens, having ET contact and everybody being okay with it. Yeah, as in a short form. All right. So that's the override. That's the positive timeline. All right. Us remembering again that we are them, they are us. Okay. That is natural to be a cosmic citizen, because that's the Christ consciousness timeline, the oneness. Okay. That's what we're returning to. But we still have to deal with that fallen timeline, which needs to clear now, because I can see it in the consciousness. Okay. And we're collapsing this now. And this is why I'm talking about this. And basically, what I've been shown is why the invasion even happened is, so if you think back to the original split in consciousness, as I mentioned, in connection to the atom, you had the androgynous form of humans, and then they were split in masculine and feminine, which caused a huge separation. And from there, things went a bit haywire. And what I was shown is, and that is more like a picturesque representation, okay, on a consciousness level of making this understandable, all right, in a very simple format, is that basically you had then the masculine projecting their own shadow aspect onto the feminine, and the feminine allowed it and enabled it and didn't, stand up for herself, and then allowed herself to be gaslit and so forth. Now, this is not about men against women, but gender divide and gender war does come into this. And these are the general archetypes we carry, okay? Narcissist, codependent, victim, victimizer, okay? It's all represented within the masculine and feminine, often, polarities, all right? And how this is played out here within the distortions within relationships. So now we need to go back to the start, and all of our masculine energy within need to stop now, to stop projecting. We need to stop our false projections. And I have spoken about this before, okay? But we keep going deeper and deeper and deeper within, especially right now, to unravel it all, okay? Stop going for distractions. Keep going within, yeah? Mainly, just focus on that a little bit more, all right now, because this is how we unravel this very quickly now. By whatever disturbs you in another person, you get judged, you get triggered, okay, see where are you still doing this? Maybe not aspect of you used to do this, because we're always just judging ourselves. I'm telling you, I still come across this as well, when I can see myself judging, I'm like, oh, okay, what am I judging here? Because I know it, but I then embrace the judging, because I need to go into it, I need to release it, I need to make it conscious, okay, to then transcend it by understanding that it's an aspect of me I haven't made peace with yet, of the one consciousness, the great I am. And sometimes it goes several rounds, okay? And we all have blind spots. We're all here to show one another what we still cannot see. But this is very, very important. So we are the change we want to see in the world. So whatever you see missing in the field, you're going to add to it. This is not personal. Nobody cares who did what. This is not a competition. This is not about comparison. We all have different pieces of the pie. Okay, and this is the mission, to sort out our crap, polarity integration. This has all been reversed, where we keep projecting everything into the environment, okay, which we are, but it's all in reverse here. It's so upside down. Okay, so we need to reverse the reversals and stop judging, or not really stop judging, embrace the judgment, but keep going deeper and transcend it to see where you're still doing it, so you can transcend it and let it go. So next time you see it, you're like, I know this, I used to do this, I wouldn't do it anymore, but you're not getting triggered by it. That's the difference between judgment and discernment. Every trigger is a blessing. Anything that's coming up right now is something you need to release. Can be very likely around rejection, because that's the core wound, separation, okay? Again, reflected within a twin flame journey also. The separation between the masculine and feminine. I was tapping into that with someone yesterday, where I could see us having the need for other people to constantly, to be loved, to be liked, to get, reassurance from other people is also down to when we were split as masculine and feminine, that it's always the feeling as if we need other people or the energy from another person, the essence, in order to feel more whole. And that's exactly what we need to transcend now, because obviously energetically we integrate in this as whole, as one. We stay in feminine, masculine bodies, and we cannot feel separate as we are. Okay, as if we just feel whole with another, because that's not the idea. This is about total individualization, okay, but knowing ourselves as one with all, which really is what all of this is ultimately about, love and reverence for all of life everywhere. And the people who trigger us most, or most mirrored opposite, are our greatest blessings, okay, and greatest challenges. But it's ultimately all there for us to pull inside, back within, okay, to integrate it all those triggers, all those judgments, the pain, the hurt, everything. You need to sit with it, not wallow in it, but just be present with it. And it's coming up automatically, whatever it needs to be. And you really need to get to a point where you don't take things personally anymore. What another person does is not about you, it's about them. If you are being triggered or hurt or whatever, it's your thing to deal with. Okay, and it's all a co-creation. And that's where I come back to the invasion. If you know that everything is a co-creation, why would the invasion of the NAA would have been any different? It cannot be. Because people, that's where all of these teachings stop. It's like, yeah, and then came the negative aliens. And then blame, blame, blame. But where did it come from? Where did it start? Why did it appear in our reality? Why did we co-create it? It's still a hologram, whether it's false or organic. This artificialness was the fakeness, really, which is also connected to our fake selves, the ones with masks on, because we want to be liked. All right. And that makes us very easy to manipulate, because people, especially negative alien agenda type people, know exactly how to play our ego and our insecurities and our weaknesses. Same as entities. And there again, it has all originated, as I was shown, from negative thought forms. So if you don't take care of your own shadow aspects and project them onto other people, that's what you get, negative entities. And then they take on a life of their own. And yeah, then you get phantom matrices and all kinds of shit. That's what I was shown. This is the core. So we all need to own our shit, knowing what is whose. This is not about guilt. This is not about shame and blame. This is about transcending all of this. But first of all, we need to know what went wrong. This is the only reason why we did all of this, is to learn and expand as the one consciousness. Okay? Or rather, things went wrong and went really sour because we didn't want to own our shit, and we didn't, and that's one more thing. When we don't own our own shadow aspects, and then we also have high expectations of who we want to be, okay, we're totally out of alignment and integrity there, obviously, all right? And this, again, also causes projections, because when you don't want to see it within yourself, but you have these high, mighty expectations of yourself, of some kind of sainthood, you are going to project all of your shadow aspects onto another person very easily. And that's actually what happened with split within the spiritual community as well, back to the Essenes divide, okay, and the different groups and the Melchizedeks, okay, and we were also played, because again, if you're that kind of type and you might be tending towards narcissistic tendencies, okay, and spiritual ego, it's very easy to be played upon by making you feel important. Okay, and not looking at your own shadow aspects, but keep projecting, even under the name and disguise of oneness. There are many different pitfalls on the spiritual journey, especially towards the end. Okay, so just keep pulling everything within. Anything that's triggering you, any pain, any judgment, any trauma remaining, okay, it's all very easily be released. Really ask Source to show you the truth. I ask every day to be shown the truth, literally, or whatever I need help with, or what answer I need, and I get them. Maybe not in that moment, but I do. Same with healing. A very intimate connection to Source and your own higher levels, okay? And it's innate. Everybody has this. Just need to remember that we do. And obviously, you know, clearing all this nonsense helps a lot to connecting with that again and activating our DNA in connection to source. So anyway, where was I? Owning our stuff. So having also this false picture of perfection, okay, or even of a 5D, although I really, this is beyond 5D, okay, go beyond dimensions and compartmentalization. Just think multiverse, okay, beyond time and space. Anyhow, what was I saying? Yeah, so if you have an idea of New Earth, okay, 5D, whatever you think that lies ahead, okay, it's just paradisic and just bliss and just happiness and just everything is, you know, honky-dory. That would not be a balanced reality, because this is how imbalances happen. If you have too much positivity or too much negativity, okay, you have an imbalance. All right. Yes, I see it very much will tend towards peaceful, blissful, joyful realities, but there will still be nuances, okay, and challenges, because we do not want to get bored. And this is not about having unrealistic expectations of ourselves and saintlyhood either. Okay, I really see this. This is really like merging heaven and earth now at higher levels with the human self, which still knows how to have fun, but not, you know, and that comes in many ways, but not go overboard and not, you know, go for extremes either. So we're getting rid of the extremes, all right? And yes, it's a much more higher consciousness experience. But what I'm trying to say is some people might have a very like overly fun, like it's a fantasy that's unrealistic type idea of what it would be like, which would cause in itself imbalances. That's what I'm at least being shown. Because again, if the consciousness gets bored, bad things happen. All right. So there still be challenges and, you know, experiences and learning, obviously, you know, that's how we expand. There needs to be a little bit of friction and the polarities and so forth. But again, it's not going to be this distorted polarity. It's going to be one where the polarities are in harmony and in balance. Okay. All right. Hope that makes sense. Now, okay. So I say we are going to override alien invasion with cosmic disclosure, the awakening, because Christ consciousness collectively is here now, all right? And we're speeding it up now because, as I said before, we are still here, although the general course is set. Make sure that it happens as quickly and as easy and as gracefully as possible, all right? That's what we're here for. And we're here to remember that we hold the timelines, to not create for them anymore. So now we're being shown, because they have to tell us what they're doing. Why do you think this has to happen? Because they're saying, well, so we're telling you, but you're too stupid to change it. Well, I guess we have been, in a sense. So are we now at a point to say, okay, now we know what you're planning to do. Let us overwrite this. Let's create a timeline we want to experience, because this is where we're at now, okay? Manifestation super heightened. Our superpowers are coming online. So much data, remembering, clarity, the new consciousness, it's all happening. Our DNA is coming online. The grids are coming online. All right. Again, in the blink of an eye, any moment now, in no time. And it has already happened. And it is happening. We are ascending. I know I'm ascending. And as I'm ascending, I know we're all ascending, because that's what I'm here for. All right. It just doesn't look the way you think it is. And yes, this is the crescendo. And I really feel something is about to poppity pop, pop, pop. And again, it's in no time. It's a frequency. It's a no doubt. Okay. Enough of us being activated. It's the 100 monkey effect. Or call it the 144 monkeys effect or lion effect. All right. You get me? So anyway, see the quantum joke. That's what makes it more fun. It's been a tough ride. Okay. But see it for what it is. No, we're holding the timelines. Now we say, okay, we can see what you're planning. Now we can override it. Okay? in alignment with source of what we feel and see is possible. But I mean, it would be galactic disclosure and full quantum collapse of all of this phantom matrices, energy, timelines, poof, okay? And I'm going to do an activation. I'm going to record it and I'm going to share it. I don't know if I do it today or tomorrow. And I will chat with you guys, which should support this, okay? And I feel it's going to be very, very powerful. So anyway, also at this point, I want to say, if what I'm sharing is helpful to you, okay, because all I share is really with everyone. I don't have a Patreon, nothing. Please, if you feel you can, a donation is very much appreciated. And I want to thank again everybody who does donate and who has donated, and who supported me, especially over the months and years. So thank you so much, because that's what makes it possible for me to do this, to make it available for everyone and to do all the grit and gate work. And that's just, the give and take. So if you find what I'm providing helpful and you want to support me so I can keep doing this, thank you very much. I'm also going to put a website together now, if the internet is still up. Anyway, but that all helps me and supports me also in doing what I need to do. So thank you so much, and also for liking and sharing and commenting, because obviously it's not just about the money, it's just one way to support. So thank you so much. All right. Now, because I don't always get a chance to, one more thing, messages, okay, especially Messenger, I just can't do it at the moment. There's so much going on. I try to share as much as I can. I need to do self-care. I am doing a lot already, and I need to really do less. So I just can't at the moment. And there are some messages I really want to get back to, but it just will be in the right time. Okay, so sorry. I don't mean to, ignore anyone, but I just can't. The same with comments underneath the post. I try to reply to as many as possible, but there's just so much one person can do. And in future, I will need people to help me also to be able to, be more organized and do this better. Right? I have my limits also. So anyway, so let's be the tri-wave, okay? We don't resist anything. We attach to nothing. That's how we collapse and co-create these timelines now, all right? So be okay with a negative alien timeline, collapse it, and then override it with the opening of the gates fully, okay? Heaven on earth is here now. It is being projected from inside of our DNA into the reality. Project that one, okay, into reality. So please, let's remember, this is what we came for, okay? To now consciously rewrite this reality, okay? Because that's really what I'm seeing is we will be the super humans, literally, again, we're going back to the start, who have created all of these beautiful, artworks and monuments and, architectural works, okay, with our superpowers, all right? And we're remembering now, because we're pulling all of those incarnational selves and multidimensional selves now, gifts and abilities all activate now. So our memories are coming back now, okay? And the memories of that timeline as well, or the one we're creating now, which is really all new, okay? But we're also simultaneously right now collapsing the old, but we do this from the place of neutrality, not by keep falling for the gaslight and the tricks, because again, they needed us and they still would need us to manifest this. And what I'm seeing in the grids, they have no more support on any level. This is quantum collapsing. They're literally disappearing off the face of the earth, what I'm seeing, okay? So it's the only way anything could manifest is by us believing that it can. And that's the whole thing. I mean, do you believe something outside of your DNA has more power than we have? Do we believe that still? Because that's us giving our power away right there. They needed us all along. We are the majority. Just don't remember. And that's another thing, because we don't want to remember, because we have actually guilt and shame. I'm sorry, I'm so itchy in my face. I really don't know what it is. There's a saying, when he knows it's itchy, like money is coming. And super abundance is about to poppity, poppity, pop. okay, in the field. So we're totally collapsing now the negative timeline of more shit coming and more of those negative timelines, totally collapse. Override. Know how powerful we are. We're not giving them any more power. We do not believe that they have any more power. Can you see how this is a program in itself? Because all these teachers like to really tell you what's going to happen, but they're not telling you that let's create something differently. So that's why I'm telling you, this is the message. We came here to override this timeline, fully collapse all of this nonsense. Now, this is it. In no time, it's a frequency. Okay? Now, I think I made this clear enough. So these DNA activations, obviously, as I already said, and Diamond Grid and Crystal Network activations are bringing all of this in line. Also, the SunDisk network, all right, this is also connected. What's coming in line is really our hiragamic crowns and halos. So it's literally like in those pictures, some of these medieval pictures you see, also these religious pictures where you have like a golden disc, okay? And this is literally also connected to the SunDisk network, as I see it in the planet, which is literally holding, it's like a new broadcasting part of the broadcasting system of the true God source consciousness to be broadcasted through us, into us, and through us, if that makes sense, okay? So it's like a receiver part, and it's connecting us really with the higher consciousness. So that's what I've been feeling coming online with the Christ Consciousness Awakening activation on the 2nd. So I mean, amazing, massive things happening within the grids. And these solar flares as well. I mean, even if they're not, some of them as big or earth facing, I'm not going to go through all of them today because there's too many of these events lately. But they're just releasing so much plasma. And this is also beyond all the measurables, okay, of solar flares and solar winds and geomagnetic storms and Schumann resonance, although we had a lot of Schumann resonance amplifications lately. It's really beyond this. It's the unmeasurables. It's these plasma infusions. They're just massive, okay? And they are what re-encrypt matter, the elementals, our body, turning carbon to crystalline, quite frankly, okay? And clearing out all the distortions and reversals. So that's what's massively happening, what we can't see, okay, on the different graphs. So instead of, so shiftily the Armageddon programming, okay, which is thinking catastrophes are happening, whether it's floods or something, all right, big catastrophes wiping out big plant masses or people. Ultimately, remember, this is a simulation, a hologram. Whatever you may think has to happen, ultimately, this has all been written, okay? Why do you believe something has to happen a certain way? Because you've read it somewhere. Do you know for sure that this is what has to happen? Do you feel there needs to be catastrophes? Like, I'm not saying there are not, obviously floods and like smaller floods or, obviously bigger also, like what is happening in Australia at the moment. I'm really seeing this is also connected with what's happening in the grids there, because there's huge activations happening in Australia and Uluru and in the grids. Obviously, there's a lot that needs to clear. We can see that, okay? There's a lot of the enslavement programming held there, just from the history of where it is. So, and the same happens in Canada, as I was seeing all of the underground tunnel systems and bases being cleared out. That's when the floods happened. Okay, so you don't need, war to break out. I mean, again, the way we believe this all has to happen isn't necessarily the case. I mean, we will find out who soon, what's what. I really feel it's part of the destruction, keeping ourselves busy and trying to distract us from the real ascension that is happening within. And I think most of us, that relate to my work can see this by now. And if not, it's fine. Just hopefully maybe, in a moment or tomorrow, because we should be really done now with even like, this whole thing of them even broadcasting the war. It's like literally like a live broadcast. I mean, how sinister is all this shit? People are just like, just give me drama. It's like watching a movie. Yes, you are watching a movie, but we are the script writers now. So let's remember that. If we think about what's real or not, okay, let's create a different reality, a different simulation through the consciousness, through our conscious projections, not the unconscious projections that are full of inversions, okay, which are our own shadow aspects projected out. And yes, the victim-victimizer game can get so crazy when in the end you don't know what's whose anymore. But ultimately, if something comes up in your field, there's something for you to resolve, all right? So it's for you to sit with and to see, okay, what can I still integrate here? What can I resolve, transcend, alchemize, bring to more, peace within, because this is about peace of mind, peaceful realities. And it means we need to resolve all remaining conflict within us. And it's very easily shown to us now. And any conflict is wherever, something goes on in your life and you keep thinking about it. And this can go very quickly now. But again, sit with it, become quiet. It's not about blame. It's literally just, what can I learn from this? Not, why is this happening to me? What have I done wrong? That's the wrong way to look at it. Okay, but if we don't look, we can't understand what is a benefit to our growth and what is not. We have to be just self-honest. And only when we really know ourselves, do we know ourselves as God. Okay. And then only when we know ourselves can people not mess with us anymore and take advantage or, play on our insecurities and weaknesses and all that stuff. All right. So just having a look at my notes very quickly. Yeah. So a lot of that, what's also happening is the mother template is being fully healed. And to me now, this is healed. I could see on Sunday, the mother-daughter DNA, RNA was healed. I know I worked with this with my daughter over the years. That's also a lot of the things that have happened. It's actually healing the mother-child template and also the mitochondrial DNA. All interconnected, obviously, with the consciousness and the false mother principle as well, and the dark mother principle. And it's connected with the cosmic egg that I spoke about before, and the perfect proton seed, which is basically helping us heal from all the lunar distortions and also this false dark mother archetype and template. So that's what we're totally clearing. A lot of that is also held within the womb area. So if you have womb or maybe urine, like tract infections or things like that, you might have been heavily targeted in that area because of the codes you carry on behalf of humanity, because we're literally healing creation from inside of our bodies, okay? Especially those that carry these codes that are part of the gray lineages and have been literally holding this mother template within their bodies, okay? The original source codes, all right? We were here to safeguard them through our bodies, all right? And this is being returned. Now we've reclaimed the full source codes, we've reclaimed from the NAA because they have basically took them, reversed them, forced breeding programs and so forth. And that's also all connected to the Lemurian Holocaust. And that's what we're healing. Okay, so that's the cosmic egg, which is like a form around your energy field that really heals all the distortions right now. And I was writing about this before. Really imagine yourself in a platinum diamond egg. Throughout the day, imagine it like just to protect your field as all of the shit is clearing and lifting and to clear all that stuff out. So just see it all dissolve and resolve and clear it out and return back to source. Just full, like this is just super, like I've just been shown. It's very effective. I know it's very simple, but why should it be more complicated? And it's a very strong energy to work with right now. So just give it a try. So this is also, again, all healing, really, what I'm seeing really from within us, this whole split within the consciousness, because what I could also see on the first, when we had this Maha Shiva Rati, I think that's almost right. So Shiva and Shakti, in Indian tradition, come to divine union. I could really feel my masculine really anchoring and merging and healing. And oh my God, the energies, wow. I mean, I was comatose. I could literally feel like billions of Indian people meditating that day. And just the energies, like wowsies. I mean, I can't even remember most of it. It's just so intense on what even happened. So, and also a lot of that mother healing is happening through Blu-ray. the return of the true blue ray and the aqua ray and the white ray. So there's a lot of white flame, white ray, aqua rays. I've been seeing the field for a long time, but again today a lot, as this is really healing all of creation back to perfection. Okay, our original source codes, our original organic creatrix, okay, and blueprints and DNA, all of that. Okay, and everything else is just being shift, deleted, cleared, dissolved, back to source, literally evaporated through our fields. That's where we're at now. All right. There's just nowhere, like, there's just no escape. Okay. I'll talk this. So there's also strong activations of the emerald heart of the earth. So I see a lot of emerald grid activations happening. And this is also very much connected to the activation of the 48 strands DNA. That is the kind of highest template we can hold at the moment here in human form. So most of us will have around 24 to 48 DNA strands. Most humans all have the potential, and it's now been returned, 12 strands DNA, or rather up to 15. And that's the kind of core template, tree of life. But then the ultimate, I mean, we talk about the divine template of the 144, which would be 12 times 12, because you have 144 subharmonic strands of DNA. All right. And anyway, the 48 strands is really what has been lost, which was the original Azurite template. And this is what's been returned now, along with the embodiment of the Rishi consciousness here, which is really an antimatter, pre-matter consciousness field. So the highest consciousness level before source level, if you want to say it like this. So this huge embodiment I can feel coming in. And this is also return of the 48 strands template. So this is also connected with the indigo magic gray lines and the emerald order now representative that are returning. And they're also gaining access now from within their personal diamond sun template. So that's when we talk about the diamond plasma body, light body. This is all interconnected with the return of the original source codes, all of them reclaimed, okay, back from the NAA, and all the reversals and hybrid codings, all super cleared. And that's also connected to the Holy Father imprint. So the feminine has been healed now, and this is also rebirth in the masculine and the divine child, because with the Christ consciousness being rebirthed, that's the Christ child. This is the Trinity. This is now rebirthing, because as the feminine heals herself, she automatically heals the masculine within herself and within all of creation. It's all one, after all. Okay, so the mother and father principles are healing, whilst we release and clear the false parent archetypes. Okay, which were all what we have seen. Okay. And you can maybe look this up a bit more. Like all the distortions within, relationship templates, the masculine, feminine, like the distorted masculine, feminine, that's really what it is. So these are all healing, because you also need to understand at the core of any kind of society, you have the family unit. So it's the masculine, the feminine, and the, child. That's so first of all, obviously it happens with us. That's why we need to work on us, okay? Because only then can we really have those divine relationships that we are seeking and know we can have. And obviously the other person also needs to do their work. And then, having a family is going to look totally different, and that's going to create totally different communities. That's at the core of it all right? And I'm being guided at this point. I need to say one more thing, all right? Talking about the magic gray lines and the Christ story also, in the Christ lineage. There are different stories out there about the Christ and Jeshua, and whether he was married to Mary Magdalene and had children. Anyway, so there's a story out there that there was supposed to be three Christs, okay, three Jeshuas. One who was, kind of a stand-in man who went for the crucifixion, but he also didn't die. Then there was one Yeshua who basically the one most of us would relate to, who but wasn't the true one, but he was the one who was with Mary Magdalene, and they did have children, they escaped. Yeah, but that he was not the true 12-strand DNA avatar, all right, that we all know, because what he was there for, the whole lineage is really is to hold the DNA template and the Templar, the blueprints, the source codes, okay, to secure and safeguard ascension. And anyway, in that story you have those two kind of Jeshua impersonations, because he would be kind of a Anunnaki type insert, okay, a false Jeshua. And then you would have the real Jeshua, who would have had 6 children fathered by 6 different women. And that would be the real Jeshua, okay, in order to, I guess, ensure the continuation of his seed, so to say. Now, may I ask you, does this sound to you like a very likely Christed story? Because for me, the main thing that really is a miss here is that it has nothing to do with love, with divine love. It has nothing to do with divine union, divine relationships, and the divine family unit, which really is at the core of society. And it's the core of what all of this is really about, the Trinity. And that's where I leave that at. Okay, so if you believe in that story, I don't know. It just, to me, really doesn't ring true. And I know for myself, Yeshua and Mary are the true incarnate avatar, crystal avatar. And together, they were here in order to seed the gray line, the Magdalene line, and to safeguard the source code and ascension and the access to the stargates and the timelines. And they did have 6 children, 5 survived. And it was based on a divine relationship, divine union. That's the template they held. Nothing else would make sense, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. I was supposed to mention that. For whatever it's worth, if that even makes sense, because most people don't even know what the story is. So anyway, now the Trinity Christ codes, talking about the Trinity and the Christ and what it was here for, which is to anchor the Trinity through the lineage, the daughters of the Christ, all right, are flooding the grids and activating the new technologies within and without. So our DNA is coming online, and new realities are coming online, our powers are coming online, our remembering is coming online, the downloads are coming online, and this is where we're going to use our superpowers in order to change the timelines and to open the gates of heaven from within our own sacred crystal hearts. All right. Cancel, clear, delete, dissolve all our timelines, realities now. It's na kena shakarata yana te kara shukuna yana kere skit kana kudaya yana kena sapa yana kena kara kukunguna kana skina tara sakarata kena kena satuya kana na ye ina sukurata yata yana sara. Quantum collapsing all phantom realities, timelines, matrices, the cause and effect now. Es una que nacera shakara tana sakara seke. Se ya na. Kena kana. Tu a ye ina e tu. Ina na 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 na. Se anatea keke natea keke nata. Kuku kukuna e ina sakara shukukuna tara sakara. Sakara, sakara. Enanana. Kena sakara. Shoo. I will see tomorrow if I do record a longer activation for us. At the moment, it's really one moment to the next, and ultimately, we can really dissolve this all from within now, just by remembering this is a simulation at this point. because it's enough of the negative programming and density and all. It's just it's you know, it's almost all evaporated. So it's literally any moment now. That's all I can say and see. So let's see what comes up one moment to the next. We keep, you know, working through whatever there is still coming up to resolve. Okay. Just again, don't take it personally. Just see it as an opportunity to merge with the oneness. All right. Keep reversing everything, keep pulling it all within. If this world is upside down, you need to turn it back around. Okay. So, and it's not from, it's all your fault. That's not what this is about. It's just, what is this co-creation telling me? Okay. What's my part? What's that person's part? Trying to really observe reality from a more objective viewpoint. Okay. And as long as our trauma is still being healed, it was another thing that was being said. So you can see it as, for example, all what's happening is re-triggering like a memory of an old timeline. So let's say from World War II or something, okay? So they're trying to re-trigger your trauma in order to replicate the timeline, which is on one level correct, but on another level, it's also really, because everything is converging right now and merging into one, it's really all these timelines, deep truths coming up to be, again, seen for what they are, dissolved, because we're transcending any fear and now override them. Okay, so they're really coming up to, trigger your trauma so you can heal it though. Because as long as we still have the trauma unconsciously in ourselves, we are always going to be easy being triggered. Okay, and trauma bonded, because everybody is trauma bonded on this planet. All right, and they're constantly just re-traumatizing themselves by watching the news. So it's like, so you're kind of seeking a trauma because it's like, it's what you're used to. Okay, it's like your adrenal system, your nervous system needs it, like a fix, literally. So, but this is all dissipating. Anyway, we need to just be very conscious of, you know, what we expose ourselves to and what we want to feed right now, and to really know of our power of what they're trying to do. And as you override it, send it out into the collective field, because as you can see, everybody's seeing it now anyway. And we are really the broadcasting station. And this is the same for AI signals, materials. It's all being cleared. Okay. If you think they're going to switch on New World Order military or whatever else maybe, or like, you know, activating the drones, okay, with the AI signals that they have within their veins, that has been cleared. I'm not saying it's all fully done, but it's massive, literally, because that is why these people, think about the truckers in Canada, most of them were all vaccinated anyway. So if you really think the vaccines are stopping people to awaken, it's obviously not working, because we've been clearing this. I've been clearing this for months with the activations that I've been, you know, providing. I've been clearing this in the field every day for months. So it's not going to happen. Override it. We are now the broadcasting system. We are hijacking the satellites and the internet and the telephone signals and you know, broadcasting stations. We are the new broadcasting station. Okay, and we are unified. Okay, we are again having the highest access to the Christ consciousness now, radiating it out to all. Okay, it's a frequency of embodiment that makes it all possible, and it's catching. All right. So I think we're done here today. So just know it's all happening. We keep making it happen. We are here to override it, and keep just unraveling it all from within. Okay, stop being so busy with the outside. If you do see something that's like me, it's not that I'm avoiding anything. Okay, if something pops up, I look at it if I'm guided to. Okay, but I don't go looking for it, and very little pops up on my timeline. So, you know, I'm not searching for it. When if something comes up, I know I'm there to transcend it. So it's not about avoiding anything either. Okay, just see it for what it is, transcend it, work with it, know your power of collapsing these timelines with our combined focus now on us being activated and coming online, and the grids as well. We're just waiting for the big shebang, the perfect divine moment and unfoldment. And we are now here to manifest. I think, can you feel it? Like, I just know superabundance is about to pop. I know dreams are about to come true. I just know it. I can feel it. There's no evidence as such, but that's the whole thing. We need to go beyond the five senses. We need to go beyond the illusions that are trying to project and make us think reality is one way, when we were here to project all new realities onto the hologram. Okay? We need to overwrite. Okay? So decode what they're trying to do, recode it, re-encrypt. That's what we're here for. That's what the plasmas are doing. Okay, we are the plasmas, so to say. We are here to re-encrypt our reality and then overwrite it with what you want to see. Not from attachment, not from forcing, controlling, needing anything to happen. That's from whatever happens or not happens, I'm going to be fine. But you have a preference and you know you are that powerful. That's the frequency. And you do it in alignment with source. You see what's available in the field. You don't push your ego will onto it. But first you need to transcend your ego. But that's what's happening. We can't merge into the oneness in Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, without having transcended the separated ego. Again, we don't lose our sense of self. This is quite the opposite. Okay, it's full sovereignty, but it's interdependence. It's not about us having to do everything in ourselves. Of course, we can ask for support. It's all what it is about. But we need to be connected to the right people. We need to be able to, feel sovereign that, if somebody doesn't support us or doesn't like us, or, that it doesn't like drag us down, break our heart and so forth. Because again, once we have healed our trauma in our heart, you become a brave heart. That's what makes you invincible, a healed heart, because then you understand, okay, talking about abandonment wound just now at the end, to leave you with. If we are afraid of love, all right, it's not as if you don't have, for example, a relationship that you are preventing getting hurt, because there is a hurt in you that's preventing you from opening up. So you're not preventing anything, you're just prolonging dealing with it in a sense, okay? Now, I'm not suggesting jump into relationships just to heal your wounds either, okay? But all I'm saying is, once we have healed, it's like we then can see that nobody's ever really broken our heart. It was our perceptions, our expectations. It was our own sense of self, our lack of confidence, our lack of self-worth, okay? That literally have caused the ultimate hurt. Because otherwise, if we would be fully in love with ourselves and confident, first of all, we wouldn't have idiots turn up in our reality, most likely. But also, it's nothing another person would do would ultimately break your heart. Yes, of course, you would be affected. You would be sad or you would be hurt or whatever, but it wouldn't break your heart. I hope that makes sense, because it's our perception. It's that we take things personally. It's our skewed way of perceiving things that is ultimately causing suffering and heartbreak, which is basically the same. All right. So it's our perceptions that we need other people to love and reaffirm us and give us that love which we don't have. But we need another person to fill that hole we think we have. But we obviously need to fill that, because it all comes back to self-love. Once we really love ourselves, we ultimately do love all others, because anything we don't love in another or judge in another, we ultimately don't love or judge within ourselves. It's just, I've checked it many, many, many times, and I always come up with the same result. Doesn't matter how much I like to differ. Okay, please, anyone write me in case that's different for them. So ultimately, love yourself, accept yourself as you are. It's the medicine to it all. Everything comes from here. Know how powerful you are, okay? Yes, we're going to be interdependent, but first we need to be sovereign. Then we can be fully interdependent. That's what's needed for New Earth living, okay? And that's also about fully free of any fear what anyone feels of us. That's a superpower, all right? That's like basically no fear. That's when you can speak your truth. Okay, because we don't want to change anymore for anyone to like us or have a mask on, try to fit in. the group pressure and think. That's what needs to go. And then we're actually gonna, when we're true self, we're gonna, magnetize, bring the people into our lives that are in resonance with that frequency. But if we are a false self, we will connect with false kind of people, all right, to varying degrees. So be your true self. That's your superpower. That's you embodying your multidimensional self, your highest frequency. That's how we really embody and activate our multidimensional DNA, which is bringing online the realities and then new grids. Okay, it's all interconnected. And really, you being your true, authentic self with no fear of what anybody thinks of you is the key to it all. What unlocks it all. Okay, and keep upping the game, keep shining brighter. Don't try and tone it down, okay, for anyone. Don't alter yourself. This is not about being in people's faces or whatever, but it's just being your true self with confidence, okay? And that you can say your truth, even if it differs from your partner, even your child or your boss or your parents, okay? Transcend the fear of being ostracized, rejected, and abandoned, because that's at the core of the separation wound. Okay. And once we really fully have integrated ourselves and love ourselves, again, nothing another person will do will be like as if you deserved it. You know what I mean? It wouldn't cause suffering in that sense, as it has been before, because this is the end of suffering. So please, let's stop imagining more suffering. Let's stop co-creating more suffering. Let's be very super conscious with every word, thought, feeling, behavior, belief system, and action we take. This is what co-creates everything, every now moment. Okay, nothing is set here, and we all have huge opportunities right now to quantum leap and jump. All of humanity. I hope you can all feel this. All right, already done. So thank you so much, so much love. Loads and loads of love and blessings and miracles. Let's be the miracles. Let's merge heaven on earth, anchoring it here for all to see again. All right, let's make the magic happen. This is what we came for. This is who we are. This is how powerful we are. Let's shift those timelines. And I see you next time. Love you. Bye-bye.